So as you can tell, we're in the Lewis and Clark Trail area today. It's Saturday midday, so it's very crowded. Parking is very full at the trailhead, so people are parking on the side of Highway 94, which means I'm going to stay off the trail as much as possible today, have some solitude. So, pretty near the start of the trail by the trailhead parking, there's an old roadbed that separates from the trail. Old roadbed to the left, trail to the right. You take that down to the bottom of a valley, hit this creek bed. This creek bed is dry most of the year. It's a wet weather creek. And this is going to take us down to the Katy Trail. We'll intersect with the Lewis and Clark Trail again just before the Katy Trail. When we get down there, we're going to get into Ward's Hollow. It's a section between the Lewis and Clark Trail, the Bluffs, and the Katy Trail, and look for the Pitman Cemetery. Tried to find it once from the Katy Trail side and was unsuccessful, so I thought I'd try it again today from this side, see how we do. There are about a dozen small fish in this pool. And a frog. Okay, so I'll put the links to a couple of websites in the description below that will give you directions to the Pitman Cemetery. What you want to look for is the Lower Hamburg hike, and at the end of that description and on the map is a brief description of the Pitman Cemetery and how to find it. Good luck. It's right off the Katy Trail, but not that easy to find. So what's interesting to me is that in some of the sandy areas here in this creek bed, I found fresh footprints. We had rain yesterday? Yes. So it has to have been from earlier today, which means I'm not the only adventurous explorer out here, which I think is great. It's good to see people just getting off the trail and exploring around. It's also great that there's not enough of them for me to run across them when I'm out here doing it. Well, the stream has made a liar out of me. I'm assuming since we've had more than average amount of rain this winter, and by how heavy that spring was flowing out of the hillside earlier, that's why we have all this water in the stream bed. It's making it tricky, but it makes it more fun. So I can tell that we're getting close to the intersection with the Lewis and Clark Trail. We're actually, if you're familiar with the trail, where the Lewis and Clark Trail split, and then the Clark Trail goes across this valley and then up a hill to rejoin with the Lewis Trail back to the trailhead. We're paralleling that section of the Clark Trail now, and in fact, I doubt it's more than 30 feet from where I am right now. I've seen several people hiking on it. What's funny is, with all the noise I'm making in this rock, they never even looked over and noticed I was here. So easy to hide in open sight. So that means we're close to either heading down to the Katy Trail and back up, or onto the Lewis and Clark Trail into Ward's Hollow. I'll figure that out once we get there. Okay, so this time, instead of just going out and trying to get lucky finding the Pitman Cemetery, I thought I'd try a combination of Google Maps and the geocaching app. And I was hoping this hollow would be Ward's Hollow, but it doesn't. It's looks like maybe a mile and a half, a couple of hollows over from here. So I'm going to take the Clark Trail back, I guess that would be west, southwest, and see if I can find it that way. Let's hope we could do it. Well, I have to say, I think I preferred the creek bed. The trail is very muddy and very crowded. A lot of people and a lot of dogs. And you know, this is a single track trail that's steep, and it's kind of hard to pass people, especially when it's muddy like this. But according to the apps, we still got a mile or more to go. What I'm hoping is that I don't get to the top of a bluff and I'm looking straight down into Ward's Hollow. I'm hoping I could kind of descend into it off this trail. Well, we'll find out. Here we are on the bluffs, and the Katy Trail's just below us, next to the Missouri River, which is still quite low. Okay, so it's kind of what I was hoping for. We're on the Lewis and Clark Trail, and according to Google Maps, it's down in this valley. And what's interesting is there are a couple of pieces of yellow marker tape on trees, and it looks like I'm not going to be the first one to go down there. So I'm hoping that we actually will find the Pitman Cemetery. Then I'm hoping we can actually make it back up to the trail. Let me show you what we're looking at. It's a little bit steep, not really that deep, maybe 120, 150 feet down, something like that. And down there we should find the Pitman Cemetery. Here goes. It's quite small. I had read there's only one marker remaining, but there are two in here. And someone did a good job of clearing a trail, looks like with a machete, not only coming down the hill from the Lewis and Clark Trail, but they also cleared a trail to the Katy Trail. We're in an elevated area from the Katy Trail. It would be impossible to see where I'm standing from the trail. Let me pan to the right. It's funny, there are two signs from the Boone Duden Historical Society here. And I like that whoever cleared this out marked the corner post with white tube socks. It works. Well, I'm happy to have finally found it. So I've got a few notes here. Between this cemetery and the Katy Trail is a stone foundation that belonged to an old house that was owned by Charles Sidentop. It was built in the late 1800s. Around that stone foundation is a cistern covered by sticks to prevent someone from falling in it, and then periwinkle, which we know is not a native plant, usually found by the cemeteries, sometimes in the homesteads as well. So this is the Pitman Cemetery. There were multiple markers here, but local farmer in between the late 1800s and 1940, when the government took this land over, decided that he needed the rest of this land to plow. So he just moved all the markers out of it, and then later one of the descendants of Richard Pitman convinced him to replace this. So that's kind of neat. And we're in Ward's Hollow. That's really the end of my notes right there. I will have to say, out of all the cemeteries that are in this area, this is the only one that looks like it's still being maintained. So this is the trail from the Pitman Cemetery to the Katy Trail. You can still see the yellow marker tape on the tree there. So whoever made this trail really did a good job, and it looks surprisingly well used as well. So I found the cistern. I would call it a well, and I can't see the bottom. It's deep. Would be bad to be stuck in that. You can see the periwinkle just covers the ground in this whole area. I wanted to give you an idea of what this well looks like. Stone walls, Got a bit of a flashlight here, a small one. Let's see if that really doesn't illuminate anything. There's, even with the flashlight, there's really no seeing the bottom. It's deep. Here you can see a small bit of an old stone foundation. I could follow this for about 20 feet to my right, where it makes a 90-degree off to the left. There's some rubble and clay pipe on the ground here in the middle. Let's walk around and see if we find a little bit better evidence of this foundation. Here we have a brick corner of the foundation, and then stonework. Probably would have been the front of the house. It's oriented towards the river. Well, that's pretty much our adventure for today. Nothing left to do now but hike back up to the trail, and then maybe a couple miles, I guess, back to the car, and just fight the mud. It's been fun though. I finally found it, and that's just kind of satisfying. So thanks for coming along with me on this adventure, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.